Right, what's going on? Here we go, here we go, here we go. So, welcome to Friendly Differences Podcast 2.0. I'm your boy DA Select, but y'all know my new name, Professor Baba Lloyd. And of course, we got the Solid Blue Sister and our guest for today. Y'all know Eddie Brock, but we're gonna start calling him by the name that he was born with, Big Matt. Or should I say Matthew Matt? But yeah, he said what do we call him? How you doing today, Solid Blue Sister and Matt?
I am good. I am good. And Big Mac, it is nice to meet you.
Likewise, likewise. I'm doing good. I'm just chilling like the ass end of a polar bear. You dig it?
Solid, you're coming in and out. Your voice is not coming through.
My voice is not coming through. Hold on. Hold
I
There
on.
we
can hear.
go.
I can hear
Yeah, you're
solid
coming
blue
in and out.
sister.
It's kind of breaking up and coming back in.
I can hear. I can hear it good, Lord. You got to get off that T-Mobile or that cricket.
Okay. I'm not okay. I hope maybe that's a little better, but I am showing I have a strong internet.
Yeah, I
So,
can. I can hear you good, solid blue sister. I can hear you.
okay. And I know Solid Blue Sister
Okay,
is a mouthful, so you just call me Solid.
solid. All right, cool, solid. Right on.
Okay. So Lloyd is taking lead
Yes.
today. So,
Yeah, I just okay. So what's going on, everyone? Y'all know us. We're all about friendly differences. Sometimes we're friendly, sometimes we have differences. But today we're actually going to be talking about an interesting topic that is going not just around TikTok, but it's been actually going on within the Black community for a long time. And we're actually going to really talk about interracial dating. Why are we talking about interracial dating? I remember growing up in San Diego, California, and I remember, my first time dating someone outside of being black. A Latina, right? That jungle fever hit me the Latina style. So what ended up happening is I remember walking around with a young Latino young lady, and I remember all the black girls giving me that side eye, right? And then when I remember seeing a black girl with someone that wasn't black, I remember giving her the side eye because for some reason, when you're not the one doing it, you kind of look at someone else within your structure and wonder what's up with them, why are they going that way, and so. Although today I've been totally reformed from that thinking. I believe that you love who you love, but there's still a lot of rift and raff within the community that people think that you are defined by who you date. Solid. Can I get your statements on what do you think about this topic?
well, I think it's an interesting topic. I don't think it's just within the black race. I think we need to not just keep it within ourselves, but we need to look at interracial marriage as a whole because the main people who had a problem with it were white people. Even though back during slave times, master was raping black women. So I go, to be perfectly honest with you, I go back and forth. I have dated outside of my race. I've dated white guys. I've dated Latinos, and one of my best relationships was a Native American.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think I don't know. We're gonna get into the weeds on this one because I have a thing about black men with white women. I have a thing with black women
Ooh.
with men. I it's it's a topic. So
Okay, and for your opening statement, if y'all don't know Matt, in fact, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then also your open soliloquy about actual racial dating. Go for it.
Uh, Big man from Oakland, California. Wiggled in the streets, read books. So I'm an educated thug. Went to the army. Did the army thing. Retired. I'm chilling in the state of Texas. It is what it is. As far as interracial dating, uh, I don't have a problem with it just because of the time period I came in when I started dating and just the diverse community we stayed in. I was consciously sound or socially sound in the city of Oakland when people were just dating people off the fact that, you know, we was vibing with one another. You know what I'm saying? Fully aware of social construct, racism as a whole, but one of the core nucleuses, one of the core nucleus I use is acceptance. Because when I grew up, I looked at acceptance because how my family was, if you were in a certain way, they tolerate you. They didn't truly accept you. And on a greater scale of this society, society teaches its people, regardless of what color you are, to tolerate and not accept. So when you look at acceptance, there's a lot more that comes with it. There's an overall responsibility because to accept someone, you have to be thorough and you have to have these key components. And, you know, learning the knowledge and wisdom and understanding and studying the knowledge of the 120 supreme mathematics and knowing these degrees, I learned that you got to have certain components, which is empathy, compassion, and understanding. And through understanding, you acquire knowledge. So acceptance as a whole means when you deal with people, the epidermis is it means something, but at the end of the day, can a person vibe with you? Can they resonate? Could they understand certain things? Most importantly, are you a capable teacher of teaching people certain things? There's a lot of components that go through it, but in a nutshell, it just came down to vibing with folks. And if you can vibe with someone, nothing else truly matters. Because let's just say you roll with some friends, all men, right? You want somebody who can understand what's going down, but at the same time, if some funk jump off, you gonna square up or you gonna get off where you mad at, and that goes to all people. So me personally, I never really had a problem with interracial. You know what I mean? Like to be honest with you, I'm just gonna be 100 with you. Like I don't care. You know why? Because who am I to question what you see in a person that makes you love them? Anything else is nothing more than layers for you to have a reason to speak on something that at the end of the day really don't affect you unless you let it affect you. So if there's a black man with a white woman, a black man with any woman who isn't black, you know, I look at them as an individual who can definitely see things and love people. And same thing with black women with a white man, a Chinese man. You know, to date outside your culture means you're a subject matter expert enough in your culture to get off your square and venture other places. And a lot of people are afraid to do that. That's almost like the army. You know what I mean? Like you want to stay on the fiber, you want to go outside the wire. I want to go outside the wire. All right, then you have a little bit more than other people to get outside your comfort zone and deal with the uncertainties and the unknown to certain things. But if you're solid in who you are and your skill set, being a subject matter expert, it really don't make none.
All right. Well, I
I,
appreciate
I,
that.
you know, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I do simple stuff. I keep it simple. You know what I mean? So
Right, right, right. No, one of the things that really stuck out. I don't know if Solid caught that, but he talked about the word, two words that I think that are two words that can go against each other in this. And the words that I wrote down was acceptance versus tolerate.
yep.
That is it something that we accept or is it something that we tolerate? In other words, are we truly acceptance of, should I say, of interracial dating? Are we? Is it something that we accept or is it something that we just tolerate? You when you walk around, you see it, and you kind of like, do you turn your nose up to it, or is it something that you sit there and truly can see the happiness in two people, and
Your
without
answer,
Well,
your
you know,
question
I
is
don't.
very easy. If we accepted it, we wouldn't be having conversations about interracial marriage. So it's a level of tolerance because people are still talking about it. You know what I mean?
right,
So
I
that's a
think every.
simplistic. Sorry.
I think everything is in America. All we do, in my opinion, is tolerate each other. And because no one really accepts, I mean, we can say, oh, if we accept this and can't we all just get along and we can accept this and you can marry whoever you want, you can date whomever you want, you can change your sex or whatever, you can do whatever you want. We tolerate in this country. I don't think people really accept things because there's always something that's under the underlying thing. And when it comes to black men marrying and dating white women and vice versa, black women dating and marrying white men, between the races, there's that underlying thing for both of them. Why can't you marry me? Why don't you want to accept me? Or I don't want to deal with you because you're too much trouble and you're this, and this. And I think that when it comes to black men and black women looking at each other as they date outside or marry outside of their race, it all goes back to one thing. It all goes back to that plantation. And I think that's one reason why black people, whomever you are, have an issue with it. I think white people, if they want to be honest, I think a lot of white people date outside of their race because they want to see what it's like. Ooh, I want to date a black man. I want to be with black woman. I don't know. I think we tolerate. We don't accept. We tolerate.
I think we should find a white person who's in an interracial marriage to get a perspective, just a small perspective of their reasonings, because I could guess, but at the end of the day, I couldn't really say why a white person dates outside their culture. Just a broad stroke of the brush, because that would be that's my honest opinion. That would be a very good question to a white person in an interracial marriage. Like, as a white person, as a majority in this country, why did you step outside of your diaspora to date outside your culture? So I definitely appreciate where you're coming from, Solid, with that, in the sense of why white people do it, because I really have no idea. Like, I think as I've gotten older, my care for what other people do and say outside of my own actions is nothing more than a reason to have a talking point. And it's just, at this, TikTok has really took a lot of unnecessary talking, like, out me, man. Like, like I said, if there's a lot of reasons why black people date outside their race, and I can tell you there's a lot of brothers who disrespect black women dating white women off stuff they see on Pornhub or operating off the stereotype. And for that, they give brothers like me a bad name, because I'm out the way. I'm out the way. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, to the point where I don't even, like, I've done a couple videos, Lloyd. You've probably seen the videos. I got several viral videos where I get at these brothers dating white women, because you can be with whoever you want to be without disrespecting nobody.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
See,
And
we'll see.
There's a lot of blatant disrespect from a lot of these brothers marrying white women, for all the obvious reasons I can tell. There is no legit love there. There's no organic connection outside of possibly just trying to pick off sisters. And you ain't and regardless of a relationship situation, you can still go about your life every day without purposely disrespecting people. So, it might not even come down to who you date. You just might be an asshole. That's just what it comes down to. You're fucking dick.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
If you're going to do shit like that in the relationship, you're going to 9 times out of 10 carry yourself in a manner to where, nobody would want you anyway. Feel me? If that makes any sense.
I think what happens is, if a person is doing it because of anti-blackness, that's where you really get to see it at. Because if I'm dating another woman and I put down women from my ethnic group, then you have an anti-ness within your group.
Yep.
And I think that's where the anti-ness comes from. But if you can still celebrate your group of people at the same time while dating outside, now there's more of an appreciation for actually what interracial dating is. I was
And that also aids into people ultimately accepting you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I
I was
said, it comes down to carrying yourself a certain way to where it's like, okay, you're not this type. And I think getting back to tolerance and what you originally said, acceptance and tolerance, tolerance, I should say, tolerating has a lot of layers that people aren't peeling back. And once you start peeling back layers, there's a lot of shit that you go through till you reach acceptance, and then you see what you're willing to accept isn't what you thought it was, because you peel back all the layers and you see, oh shit, you see these different components that was overshadowed by the layers, and then you're like, okay, I can accept that. And that's just with everyday life, because could you accept the army when you were first in and the drill sergeants is knife handing you in your face? But when you pull back those layers and you're now somewhat of a seasoned soldier, you appreciate it more in the sense of like, I just don't tolerate this shit. I accept it now because I see it for what it really is. And I see that drill sergeant wasn't a dick, but going through the layers, he was molding me to be what I didn't see myself as early on, if that makes any sense.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. So, Solid, I have this question for you. I just want to see, what do you think about when I say this saying? Because it goes off of what you said earlier. But the saying is, the further we get away from the lash, the further we get away from the us or the we.
I think that's absolutely true, and I think the one community that has gotten away from the us and we are us. We have. We are the only race, who we don't support each other. And when you start talking about the interracial relationships, there's one white guy who consistently says that the white race is dying out consistently, and he always says that white men are going to be gone. We're going to do this and this. And I pointed out to him, I said, but yet you married outside of your race. If you're so concerned about the white race going on, why did you marry outside of your race? And you would have those white babies. So the us and the we, in terms of Black people, we got away from that long time ago, before the whole interracial marriages and stuff. We've been away from the us and we,
Well,
but
I'm just looking at statistics right here. I think Black people have the highest statistic of marrying outside of their race.
But Black men will marry white women before a Black woman will marry a white man. But you look at Asians, you have Asian women who will marry outside of their race before an Asian man will.
Correct. And Asian women, it says here, Asian women tend to date more white men,
right,
per capita, and Black men tend. Well, it looks like Black men pretty much have the same spread around through others, other than Pacific Islander. But Black men, it seems like Black men pretty much don't discriminate when it comes to Latino and white.
Mm-hmm.
You see less Black men with Asian and others, because in the other categories, depending on what they mean by other. The reason why you see that, because a lot of time those other categories are really are really strict as far as going outside. And so what you see, you have a high concentration, like you just said, of Black men who actually marry outside. Black women tend not to. They seems like Black women tend to stay more with Black men, and then white, like I said, white women tend to, if they do, their highest percentage is Black man, and then Asian man, and then of course Latino, and then it goes different from there.
But but Lloyd, you also have to look at this too. They say that the dating pool for Black men drops drastically at the age of 16. Okay. Whereas with white men, the dating pool drops at the age of 32. But you also have to figure in, because I've had conversations with people who have dated and married outside of their race, whatever. And when I was dating a white guy, this Black guy just jumped all over me, and I said, well, from my background and what I want in terms of education, the most educated people in this country are Black women. Black women lead education over white women, over black men, white men. We are the most educated. And when we look around to see, well, who are we going to date within our race? It's like, you know.
So are you saying if I didn't mean to cut you off, if I'm comprehending you, are you saying, and this is a question, just to make sure I'm tracking, are you saying since black women are the most educated that finding another educated man is slim, or you're not finding someone who can match your energy? Am I hearing that correct? Just to
I'm
make sure,
saying
like,
finding another educated black man is slim.
okay,
I like
I just wanted to make sure I was following. That's
Yeah.
all.
I
That's
mean,
all.
finding another.
Okay.
I mean, because people want to. I mean, for the most part, people are going to date and be attracted to people who are,
mm,
in their social, economic, whatever.
that's good to hear.
If I'm not going to date somebody who, it's like.
I hear you. Yeah, I know.
And and I think one of and you have to walk on eggshells with with how you word things, because saying it makes it seem like, oh, you're just this, but it's almost as if
Yeah.
oh god, it's almost like it's utilized how it's like it gets back to black, like forget all the things that you mentioned, solid, like finding someone who's on your same level, educated, blah 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 blah, and it's like, oh well, because I'm black, you should still roll with me. It's almost, are people asking to compromise either our preference or what we're seeking just because they're black? Like, I don't know if I'm saying that right, if I'm
No,
wording it correctly, but it's like,
you are saying it right, but that's what okay. This is the best way that I can put it. When I hire people to work for me, I give them a spelling test, I give them a writing test, and you better be able to know how to speak. Okay, and because you're representing me, you are that you are representing me. If you cannot, why am I going to want to have someone work for me or even work for someone? I have gone on interviews where the person who is interviewing me, I'm listening to them and I'm like, seriously, and I was offered the job. I'm like, I don't want to work here. So the same thing with a relationship. You want to be around people, that you guys have things in common and that are, and I hate to say it like this, but this is the only way that I can say it, are on your same level.
Well, I mean,
and
I
you know
don't.
what's sad?
I don't take a
What's
knock
scary is
to.
that when you say that, a lot of people get offended.
Yes,
Like,
but you also said though, if people want to be honest, if you're being honest, are you dating someone because of the color of their skin? Are you dating someone because of their background? Are you dating someone because of who their family are? I mean, there's a lot of components to when you get into a relationship. So if you're being honest, let's be honest. I'm just saying.
And you're 100% correct. This is why I've now taken a step back from having these conversations, because I think, as George Carlin would say, please forgive my French, solid, the overall pussification of this society has softened people up, that these type of conversations that needs to have honesty and truth interjected hurts a lot of people's feelings, to the point where
because they don't want to face, less, they don't want to face the truth. I mean, they don't want to face their own what they think. That's just like this whole racism thing with the CRT and everything. Because of how you feel, I'm not supposed to have the conversation. I'm not supposed to say the word slave because you get upset. So my whole thing is these conversations have to be had, because that's part of the problem of this country. We are so afraid to talk about stuff that we end up making these stupid laws. We end up, doing stupid stuff because nobody wants to talk about it. So if you really talk about, like, why are black athletes, why do the majority of them marry outside of their race.
Right. Well, okay. So real quick. So what I'm gonna do is right. That last stat I was giving you guys was 2010 to 2016. Let me give you top 10 interracial marriage statistics of 2022. Interracial marriage we all know it became legal in 1967 with the Loving case. 18%
Yes.
African American marry. This now it doesn't break down by men or women, but it says 18% of African Americans marry someone of a different ethnicity or race, according to the interracial relationship statistics. Now, understand these statistics are only 11 million people. It's only a certain population in which they actually got this from. 26% of Hispanic newlywed men have a spouse of a different ethnicity or race. Interracial couple statistics reveal that Honolulu, Hawaii, has the highest rate of racial marriages in America at 42%. 20% of African American Caucasian couples divorce compared to 13.5% of Hispanic Caucasian couples. In the U.S., interracial marriage statistics show that 10% of the population, that's 11 million people, are currently in mixed race unions. 22% of Americans believe that multiracial kids are good for society. 42% of the intermarried couples are being Hispanic and Caucasian, according to the interracial relationship statistics. 56% of the survey participants ages 18 to 29 believe TV shows should feature more interracial couples. Interracial marriages statistics in of the census that shows that 49% of Democrats believe that interracial marriages are beneficial to society. So you're getting this overwhelming percentage of society who think that interracial marriage are actually making a difference, and that it's actually good for the society. You're really getting that with the new millennials, because especially when you get from 18 to 29, right? That's 56%. That's big time millennials. The further once again, I said earlier, the further you get away from the lash, the further we get away from the we. And I think that goes not just with black people.
Hold on. I disagree with that shit.
What?
You said something. You said something about interracial kids or mixed kids are better for the fucking society.
I
Not
said
you,
that's
but that's
what
what the statistics say.
no, look, no. It says 56% of survey participants ages 18 to 29 believe that TV shows should feature more interracial couples. Interracial marriage statistics and census shows that 49% of Democrats believe that interracial marriages is beneficial for society.
Okay. The reason why I say that because the reason why I have a problem with that is because I don't care if you're white, black, interracial. Being a good person is good for the society. The
Well,
fact that they're trying to suggest that two unions creating a mixed child or interracial child, whatever fucking euphemism, is good for the society. I'm lost because I'm wondering, like, I thought.
oh, is he coming in not to you or just me?
His internet's going in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's frozen. So.
Yeah, it's frozen. Yeah. So I just want to, and I hope you understand what they're trying to say. They're trying to say the more representation of interracial marriages, trying to say that the better society will be, because now you're getting people who understand, each other a lot more. That's my. I say, when you read statistics, it's all statistics can be skewed either by bell curve, and if you understand bell curves, you can have things that miss the standard deviation, right? It could be
Mhm.
one or two off standard deviation. But when I'm looking at statistics here, and they're saying 49%, but it only says Democrats believe interracial marriages are beneficial for society. In other words, they're thinking that representation in on TV shows, on commercials, when you see more interracial couples, it's good for society. And that's what I'm reading it verbatim, word for word. And y'all can get that on todateforlove.com, interracial marriages statistics. Just so you guys want to know.
Well, I mean, I think that you are definitely seeing more interracial couples every time you a cereal commercial or whatever, you're definitely seeing more. And I think that it is good for people to see with the climate that we're in now that you know everybody doesn't have to be separate. But if you're still being honest with yourself, you still have a lot of people who sit there and say, "Oh, I love everybody," when you're not loving everybody, you're tolerating everyone, and
Well,
there's a difference.
right. Well, I mean, I honestly think and this is just me. Do I think you could choose who you love? Attraction is attraction, but you can still choose who you want to be with.
Oh yeah, I mean
You know what I mean? I
you can
think
definitely choose it, but I'm just saying that when I made the comment, you know that a lot of people probably not gonna like. I'm just saying that if people are being honest with each other, a lot of people tolerate we tolerate
yes.
each other as opposed to accepting it. So
No,
yes,
I agree.
again, I tolerate a lot of things. I don't accept a lot of things, but I tolerate a lot of things, and I'm just being honest.
No, and that's good. I mean, I'm just saying. I just know, and I always put this one out here, like Evie the boys, while he was in Germany, going to school in Germany, he met a German woman. Of course, most German people in Germany, or of course, all the wars, German people were white people, right? And
Mhm.
so W.E.B. Du Bois, and I forget her name. One of these, I'm just gonna get the book and it out for everyone. But he met a white lady, and they were actually in love with each other. W.B. Du Bois, he really talks about how fond he was of her, and of course she really loved him. But W.E.B. Du Bois, before he came back to the United States, he made a conscious decision to be with her, and he was saying for the benefit of his race, he said there's no way he could bring her back to America.
Hey, I'm gonna
And
drop out, you guys. Hold on, I'm gonna drop out and come back in Safari because I went through my email. I'll be right back.
no problem, no problem.
All right.
And so that's what E.B. Du Bois had went through. And so I do believe that we can consciously make decisions on who we want to be with. Now, is that a top decision or what? I mean, because what that means is I can still be attracted to any other ethnic group, but if I choose to say if I'm going to make a family and be with someone that is black, I can choose to do that. If I choose to be with someone that is outside of being black, I can choose to do that. But at the same time, you must understand there's going to be scrutiny that comes from different groups when you do make those decisions.
Okay, so let me ask this because I know people who go through this, and I just shake my head because it pisses me off. And I'm like, why are you still with that person? Um, I know people who are in interracial marriages, married to white people, and another one who's married to a Latino, and all three of these people have had public arguments where their spouse has called them the N word. And I'm just saying to myself, okay, so if if they're doing this out in public, I can imagine what's going on within your house.
Is that
Uh,
N word with a hard ER?
Whether it's the A or the R, you already know how I feel about that word.
I'm just
So
like, yeah, I mean, just
I,
Lord,
I am,
Lord,
I mean,
just go ahead, beat your
I'm
face,
just saying
Lord.
that
Beat
to
your
me,
face,
there's
you.
just that level of disrespect that somebody that you're
I,
supposed to love,
yeah. Now I
what
have
I'm
a question. I
saying?
have a question. What was okay? What was and I'm going somewhere with this. What was the dynamics of that relationship? Was the man a black man and the woman a white woman that called him that, or was it
It
vice
was a
versa?
one of them is a black man married to a white woman. Another one is a black woman married to a Latino, and the other one was a black woman married to a black man. I have also read things where they say that some white men marry black women, and and they just to demean
Belittle.
them.
Yeah.
So but my thing is as soon as that comes out of your mouth,
It's done.
Then
But
yes,
you also have to take into consideration a plethora of reasonings why an individual would stay. But I will tell you this: it takes two to tango. So I wouldn't be surprised if the person who was called the N word has toxic trait anyway. I mean, if a person is
no,
gonna,
no. But see, to me, no, because I don't care if that person is as evil and toxic and whatever. You don't go there. You don't
no,
go
I'm not
go
saying the
there.
person.
And
I'm
just
not
like
saying the
I would not
person.
call
uh,
a Mexican slur. You know,
Okay, and if you did, let's just say you were an individual that would use a racial slur to a Latino or something like that,
mhm.
and that individual still stays with you. Now you have to look at that person and say, why you staying? You
Right,
might be staying.
right.
The person might be staying because they themselves might be toxic too. And we can also throw in maybe dependency problems, low self-esteem, or something. But that's the only reason why, if we're going to be honest, why would a person stay in a situation where they're being belittled and demeaned? So
No,
one
you're
of the things, it might could be a toxic trait, it might be a dependency issue. There's a lot of factors, and the only person who can answer that question would probably be that person who's like,
no.
and
You're
then
absolutely right because
on, on some real shit, you might have people who get off on that. In this society, there's a percentage of people who get off on that type of stuff, in the sense of like, that's a kink. It's
no, I
stupid,
mean you're absolutely right because when you look at maybe women who stay with men who beat them, it's like
yeah.
why do you stay? So I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying that the fact that
It's I trust me, solid. I too am a witness to these type of things, and I ask myself a million and one questions, and I just get back to square one, where I'm just like, well, you're there for a reason. And to be honest with you, all the questions I pose will not come up with your reason, and unfortunately that's just going to be a reason you have to reason with yourself. And if and when you come to a point where you understand that reason and you decide to move, I'll come back around and help you out. But if you're going to stay there, I've learned from playing a dirty game early on in my life, where you know a chick was married, and we hook up and she's still married. I learned early on that, hey, that she gonna always be with her husband. So you can't get too involved. You can't say, hey, baby, let me try. Now bump that, because she's still gonna be with her husband. And at the
Well,
end of
what
the
about
day,
this, Eddie?
me being a man from Oakland,
Matt,
California, a woman or a person's gonna choose. And at the end of the day, like my cousin, like when I divorced my ex-wife, um, when we were divorced and there was time in between the divorce, you know, my family came around like, see, I told you. I'm like, how come you didn't tell me this shit when we was married? They be like, shit, because we ain't fucking. You know what I'm saying? That's the game. And at the end of the day, you realize don't matter. You with that person, you're gonna still stay with that person until you wake up and be like, you know what? I don't want this anymore. Some people wake up. Some people unfortunately live out the rest of their lives until they wake up. So to your point, solid. Why do people stay? Ultimately, because they want to, at the expense of their
I mean,
own integrity.
and no, and again, you're right. People do it because they want to. But for me, the person who's on the outside looking in, I don't know what's going on inside your house. I'm the one that's sitting over here shaking my head. So
Yeah,
but,
agreed.
but what about the thought? But what about the thought that 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 maintaining or you can't be pro your race or your ethnic group or your nationality, whatever you want to call it, but you cannot be pro black with being with someone that is other
All
because
right, now let me answer. Let me
hold on,
let
hold
me
on, hold
answer
on,
that.
hold on. I'm not finished. But based off the understanding of your partner doesn't understand your struggle, not based off of who you love, but based off of the partner not understanding your struggle, based off of
I
just
already
that.
I already got an answer for that, because I was knocking people's heads off on TikTok with this. All right, so here's the thing. Let's get the your partner not knowing your struggle. People have asked me respectfully, Your wife is white, you're black. What does she know about being black? And that question is very disrespectful to me because it's two disrespects. Now you're questioning the competency level of my wife, and now you're questioning me as a black man in regards to my teaching skills and me being a subject matter expert on being a black man. So now you call into question two things. It's like, bro, like who you talking to? But I tell them this: she knows as much about being a black woman as I, as a black man, know about being a black woman. I'm only as good as the teacher. So if I have a dope black woman, a dope solid woman, I might not know what it is to walk in a woman's shoes. But if I have compassion, empathy, and understanding, when she has any type of discrepancies pertaining to being a woman, I can see it. I might not feel it,
Oh,
but I
okay.
can see it. And if I see it, I can appropriately aid her into handling it. Now, as far as the pro blackness and what's the name, it's like, number one, if you as a black man gonna tell me I can't be something, immediately you are an agent of white supremacy, because in this society white folks have always told black folks what we can and can't be. So
Mhm.
another black man telling me I can't be something with a condition, because if is a conditional word. So if
Yeah.
you say, oh, you can't be pro-black if you put a condition on something, and as a black man telling me that, I ain't vibing with you, because at the end of the day, if you want to take pro-black and make it something other than what the original word pro means, and that's for, you got a problem, because I don't have a vagina, but I am pro woman enough to where if a woman says this is what I want to do with my vagina, I don't have one, but I can still be pro her cause.
There we
So
go.
that right there is a made up condition. Otherwise, it's simplistic as this: you want to hit this weed? Oh, you don't smoke weed? Oh man, you can't kick it with us then, man. If you ain't smoking this weed, it's peer pressure. It's to twist your arm to wield into their beliefs. I'm pro-black because I came from a black vagina. My responsibility is to safeguard, protect, and destroy anything that tries to destroy black. And if you put a conditional term on my support towards you, then you don't need my support. So you can be pro-black and date outside your culture, because pro will always be for. Now, like I
Now,
said,
now,
each
now,
individual.
Solid has some pushback for you. I can see it in Solid can't wait to something. I got to hear this pushback
No,
now.
no. I'm okay. I agree with everything that you have said, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Button there.
Okay.
Watch out.
So you said that it's disrespectful for them to say about your wife, what does she know about being black?
Hmm.
So let's say she's not your wife. Let's say that you have a white woman or a white man, white couple who have adopted this black child. Is it
Okay.
not fair to say, what do you know about being black? And if something were to happen to you and you pass away or something, it's just your wife and your daughter, does she, is there going to be enough there to still teach the black side? But again, if I were to look at two white people, is it not fair for me to say, what do you know about being black?
Now, solid. Now, we want to be honest. You know the answer to that. And here's the thing: what's missing out of the equation is what's missing out the equation, the first half, two white people raising a black child, you know daggone well. You can pose that question.
Wait, okay,
What do
but
you know about black?
but
Because
are they? But the people who posted who posed that question to you, was it a sincere question from them, looking at it from that point of view, saying for this white person or this Asian
not
person
not
or this
not
Latino
not at
person?
all. You know why?
No,
Not at
no,
all. You
no.
know
Gotcha.
why?
It was a gotcha second. Yeah.
Because I'm black.
Okay, that's why I said
No,
I'm playing
I didn't mean. I'm not
playing
trying. I'm
devil's
sorry. I'm not trying to
advocate here.
inflect. With all due respect, man, I'm not trying to fluctuate my voice, but I'm black. I'm the
Okay,
subject
Yeah.
matter expert. Now,
okay,
two white people with a black child, you can say, what do you know about being black? Because there's no subject matter expert. There's no black person there.
So,
They
okay,
have
so,
a
so,
child.
okay. So you're
So they
saying
don't
you're
know.
the subject matter expert in this equation, and as long as there's a subject matter expert in the equation, then you have someone that everyone can feed off of. You
That's
have
almost like that's almost like two dudes raising a girl. What do you know
okay.
about raising a daughter? Proper question. Why? Because clearly there's two men. and a girl. So there's no subject matter expert around. But I'm
Got
sure there
you.
is an external source. But if there's a man and a woman and there's a girl, say, what do you know about raising a girl? And the woman's right there, that's disrespectful to the woman. Like, hello, I'm a
Okay,
woman.
okay,
What
Matt.
do you think?
I'm just saying. I have to put it out there because when people watch this show,
Yeah.
I just like I just
But
like to
no,
have everybody's side, the question, whatever, because I know somebody's probably saying, "What about this?" So I
now
have to
let me
ask
get
the
now.
question.
Now I didn't answer the second part to your question. Now, if I was to die, what would my wife do? Well, we've been together long enough, and she's been
Exposed.
outside of what she's already acquired that we have fished through. Like, what do you know about being black? The struggles, the difficulties, this, that, and the third. As a subject matter expert, she has convinced me without a shadow of a doubt that she's fully aware of the stuff that black people go through. Would she be able to feel it as a white woman? Not at all. But feeling and being able to assess and see it is what's critical. Because if you can see it and you know it exists, you still have time to plan and come up with contingency plans for your child that's half black. And if I'm out the picture and I pass away, my wife will have everything that we've learned together as a union, and then what I brought in to educate her to move forward. And to be honest with you, to be honest with you, this shit ain't trigonometry. This ain't rocket science. As to understand what it is to be black in this society, in my humblest opinion, would be no more than a 3-month course. It's a 3-month course. And anybody that says otherwise, you're putting a 10 on the 5 doing hella much. Just like what it is to be a woman. It doesn't take long to understand and see the fucked up shit that women go through. It happens every day. Nothing different changes when it comes to humans and mistreatment. There's a spiritual attack, a mental attack, physical attack, an emotional attack. There's certain levels, things that we as human embody. I think it's 5. Look it up. There's 5 things that the human body needs to to survive. Like mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at all
Psychological.
those things that are attacked, you apply that to everything because every person will be affected by it, regardless of your skin color. I can attack you physically, I can attack you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, economically, socially. So if you're a woman,
Logically,
black,
yep.
white, Asian, you can be attacked on those fronts. If you're a black man, woman, you can be attacked on all those fronts. And if you see the different, if you can differentiate based on race, well, this is what black folks go through every day. How long does it take you, if you truly care, to grasp all that, to consolidate and be like, okay, boom, I got my contingency plan because I see what you do to black folks. It's not rocket science. Once
Nice.
again, I just feel that across the board, we we interject things that aren't necessary to have talking points about the same things that never change. So I think, as being honest, we just need to take the simplistic aspect of everyday life and come up with contingency plans as you as a not just a black woman but a woman in general, because as a woman in general you go through a whole lot of shit. Now you interject being a black woman, you add those components and you operate off that and you come up with a contingency plan. And you being an educated black woman makes it difficult for people to trip your wires because you are indeed a threat. But the contingency plans and the simplistic observation of the attacks that women go through every day, it's not more or less finding out what else they're doing. Is you coming up with the endurance and the stamina to operate in this society to where you don't pick up a machete or a M4 and start mowing motherfuckers down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it comes through in life itself. Like the endurance and the stamina to not just go postal on a motherfucker. So it's
So
very
Right.
simple. If you narrow
let me
things
ask
down to a
let,
simplistic understanding, it goes smooth.
let me ask both of you. Why do you think celebrities, mainly athletes, marry outside of their race, male?
You know what? I've thought about that. I have to get ready to get off because it's going on an hour and I got stuff I got to do. But
Understand?
I I I don't know. I wonder why. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. That's the $1 million question. I think that should be that's something that's a talking point that we can talk about that isn't simplistic because it's murky. Like why do black athletes marry white women? What do white women are?
What do they
Without
provide?
being
What do they
sexist
offer?
or
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. What do they provide and what do they offer
Yeah,
that that you see a big majority of even actors of
yeah.
for some reason it's man, my mom once said it best. She says when they make it there, they for some reason don't think that a black woman is the best thing by their side, or best person by their side for some reason.
Now, as a black man, I'm sorry, as a black man in an interracial marriage, I can, like you said, solid, play devil's advocate, and let's just say I take the stereotypes of white women, being submissive, doing all the sexual things that black women don't do, which is bullshit. But I'm just saying, uh, let me overtalk them, let me do all this bullshit. Like, even if we were to throw that in there, like, even if you were to operate off that stereotype, how would that make you look as a black man? Like, that wouldn't be something I would want to be perceived as. Like, are you with this white chick because you could do all this? Because ultimately, you're showing that you're with this person for the wrong reasons, and you might just be a fucking horrible person. That's the only thing. That's just something I can just shoot from the hip. Like, they're operating off the stereotypes. But if you're operating off the stereotypes, what does that say about you?
Right.
Maybe there's some entitlement there as an athlete. Maybe that's what it is. That's what it could be. You know why? Because these athletes, for the most part, if you're into, I know a couple professional athletes, and one of the things they tell me is that for the most part, they're given everything. You know, if I'm an athlete in a athletic program, medical doctors are at the tip of my hand. I got medical. I got free this. I got everything is handed to me. All I got to do is practice the playbook and produce points. So I'm thinking they're under the impression that white women would be easier in regards to giving and or making their life simplistic. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an athlete. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a brother from Oakland, California, who wiggled in the streets lightweight. But that's the only thing I can think of ultimately, without being long-winded, is that there's some type of stereotype involved.
Yeah,
And
all
as
right,
a
so,
black man in an interracial marriage, I think that's fucked up because it gives black men like me, who still love black women, I honor and respect black women. I don't tarnish black women's image, but I'm in an interracial marriage because across the board, my overall representation as a black man loving organically, having a knucklehead have a white woman, and they're misrepresenting, at the end of the day, not only are they disrespecting black women, but they're also disrespecting black men.
Eddie, in about a month, we want to have. I would like to put this in the box. I know you got to go, but what I want to do is I want to bring a friend up that is a black woman who has been in a marriage with a white man, and if we can, I would love to have this again, solid, and have it maybe interracial marriages 2.0, and we
Yeah,
can revisit this. And I would really like to tackle that question, especially about the psyche or the mindset. Like I said, I don't you love who you love, but why do these pro athletes do we see them? Uh, Most of them marry outside of who now. There's a flip side too. If you look at the Jason Keys and the other ones, white men have also taken a big liking to black women, and you're starting to see that if you're looking at the Jason Kelseys and a lot of these rich white men, they're actually doing that too. But I think there's a lot there's so much more to it to dig into, I
That
just want to
sounds
be
layered.
I just want to be respectful to Matt's time because I know he said it's coming up on an hour.
also see, okay, so you say you have a black female friend who's married to a white guy.
Well, who was married to a white guy? She
Who
has a
was?
white sibling.
Okay, see if you can find a white man or a white woman. Well, no. Well, yeah, a white man or a white woman who's married to a black man or a black woman, or in this case, both. Doesn't you know what I mean? And let's see what we can manifest about their decision as a white person, because this is what I look for. Like I said, my first wife was black. My new wife is white. And in both instances, one of the key components on my decision to be with them was because it was organic. The process doesn't really matter. The intentions was an organic connection, right? So are people dating people, marrying people because it's organic, or is it because of some stereotype shit? And I think with this conversation, both you guys can see that my explanation and my overall description shows that I'm organic with it. There is no
There's no fetish
synthetic
around it. There's nothing. Yeah,
yeah, there's no synthetic bullshit with me. It's I fall in love with you based on who you are as a person and who you are ultimately and the overall connection. And I think if people are forthcoming with their decisions on why, or just have this conversation, you can see if it's organic or if it's bullshit.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So I'm sorry, my phone getting ready to die. I'm on 9%. I want to do this again. And to be honest with you, in all fairness, I didn't even express to my wife that I had a 2 o'clock podcast until you
It's
hit
all
me
good.
where I was at. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I was like, oh snaps. That's why I jumped on in the car because
Also,
I ain't gonna leave you hanging, brother.
I really want to also invite your wife up here on the next one. You think she should be?
I'll talk to her, but I'll be honest with you. My wife, her personality type, she's not in the way, dude. Like
I
she's
got you.
seldomly on Facebook and on
Same
Instagram.
way.
Like
My wife's the same way.
yeah,
My
like she's like
husband's the same
I
way.
don't like that's why we don't you don't see her you barely or the only time you see her is if I catch her off guard, but participating in TikTok, she ain't even like nope. You know, I
Mine's
had to
the same
twist her
way.
arm to get an Instagram. So but yeah, bro, like yeah, she's one of them. So I respect that. You know, I don't push her because like I said, boundaries. I respect
That's what's up.
boundaries. You know, hell, I had to convince her ass a couple days ago like you need a car. Like buying these cars, like take your ass to a car lot and buy a car off the lot because she's one of them. You know what I mean? So yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's all love. But Lloyd hit me up solid. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but I think you're a phenomenal person based on this overall conversation, a plethora of wealth. Um, you have a new friend. I truly
Well,
respect
I
you, and I
will
would
follow.
definitely like.
I am on TikTok, and I think I followed you this past week, but I will go back and I will double check.
I'm the solid blue
Okay,
sister.
and
Yeah.
I would
I'm the
love
solid
to.
blue sister.
I would definitely love to sit down and have more time to talk to you about other things because I can tell you have a plethora of knowledge and stuff. And I would love to sit down and at the coffee table and talk to you some more and get some more insight on you as an
My
elder
turn to talk
and,
talk.
and
Well,
yeah, and what you have to offer. So, I
well,
would
thank
love to
you.
continue this.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Most definitely.
Thank you.
Come on, girl, let's go. All right, you
Appreciate
guys
you,
take it
Matt.
easy. I gotta
Thank
roll
you.
out. All right, Lloyd, take it easy, fam.
All right,
All
take
right.
care.
All right,
All
peace.
right, everybody. This was Friendly Differences Podcast 2.0. I'm your boy, Professor Baba Lloyd, and my solid blue sister. And that was Matt. Y'all know him as AKA Eddie Brock. And we were talking about interracial dating, and it was really good. We had some stats in the chat. Thank you so much for the stats and for coming up with all the different things. It was very intriguing. That's why we got to do this again, solid. We
You
definitely got to do
know,
it again.
all of our topics have so many layers that literally every show we do is like another show, another show, another show, another show. Because, as you guys know, if you guys have been following us, and one thing I will say, thank you to everyone who you all may not come on the live, but you all have been watching our shows on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our numbers are going up. But as y'all know, Lloyd and I, we get into the weeds. We talk about stuff that a lot of people don't want to talk about. So
Again, thank you so much. This is once again Friendly Differences 2.0 signing out, and we're gonna give you the Angela Bassett. Ah,
peace.
peace.
Bye, everyone.